As a foretaste of what's in store, the In Vitro Meat Consortium was initiated at a workshop held at the Norwegian University of Life Sciences in June 2007. Critically, growing meat from genetically engineered single cells is likely to be scalable indefinitely. Its global mass consumption is potentially cheaper than using intact non-human animals. Therefore, assuming that for the foreseeable future we retain the cash nexus and market economics, cheap, delicious vat food is likely to displace the factory farming and mass killing of our fellow creatures. One might wonder sceptically, are most people really going to eat gourmet vat food, even if it's cheaper and more palatable than flesh from butchered non-human animals? If we may assume that vat food is marketed properly, yes. For if we discover that we prefer the taste of vat-grown meat to carcasses of dead animals, then the moral arguments for a cruelty-free diet will probably seem much more compelling than they do at present. Yet even if we have global veganism, surely there will still be terrible cruelty in nature. Wildlife documentaries give us a very Bambified view of the living world. It doesn't make good TV spending half an hour showing a non-human animal dying of thirst or hunger, or slowly being asphyxiated and eaten alive by a predator. And surely there has to be a food chain. Nature is cruel, but predators will always be essential on pain of a population explosion and Malthusian catastrophe. Not so. If we want to, we can use depot contraception, redesign the global ecosystem, and rewrite the vertebrate genome to get rid of suffering in the rest of the natural world too. For non-human animals don't need liberating, they need looking after. We have a duty of care, just as we do to human babies and toddlers, to the old and the mentally handicapped. This prospect may sound remote, but habitat destruction means that effectively all that will be left of nature later this century is our wildlife parks. Just as we don't feed terrified live rodents to snakes in zoos, we recognise that's barbaric. Will we really continue to permit cruelties in our terrestrial wildlife parks because they are natural? The last frontier on planet Earth is the ocean. Intuitively, this might seem to entail too complicated a task. But the exponential growth of computer power and nanorobotic technologies means that we can in theory comprehensively re-engineer the marine ecosystem too. Currently such re-engineering is still impossible. In a few decades it will be computationally feasible but challenging. Eventually it will be technically trivial. So the question is, will we actually do it? Should we do it? Alternatively, should we conserve the Darwinian status quo? Here we are clearly in the realm of speculation, yet one may appeal to what might be called the principle of weak benevolence. Unlike the controversial claim that superintelligence entails super-empathy, the principle of weak benevolence doesn't assume that our technologically and cognitively advanced descendants will be any more morally advanced than we are now. Let's give a concrete example of how the principle applies. If presented today with a choice of buying either free-range or factory-farmed eggs, most consumers will pick the free-range eggs. If battery-farmed eggs are 1 penny cheaper, most people will still pick the cruelty-free option. No, one shouldn't underestimate human malice, spite and bloody-mindedness, but most of us have at least a weak bias towards benevolence. If any non-negligible element of self-sacrifice is involved, for example if free-range eggs cost even 20 pence more, then sadly sales fall off sharply. My point is that if, and it's a big if, the sacrifice involved for the morally apathetic could be made non-existent or trivial, then the abolitionist project can be carried to the furthest reaches of the living world.